and welcome here as we begin the journey now into the postseason of our fourth season of the NNSCRA Hershey's Cup Series. It's time to get started on a chase for the Hershey's Cup Series Championship. Last week at M&M Superspeedway, 16 drivers made their way into the chase for the championship to get ready for 3 rounds. Eliminations taking place, 4 drivers eliminated at the end of each round, whittling us down to our final 4 to compete for the championship at the season finale at Auto Club. And what a field we have. Out of the 16 drivers that are locked into the chase, 5 of them are in their first ever chase for the championship. J McCloud, J Arndt, S Gallighan, J Sydnor, and J Bryant all taking part in their first ever chase. We've got 5 drivers that are in the chase for the second time in their career. C Sandfer, M Haas, C Llamas, E Hartnett, and tonight's pole sitter, T Dunham. 5 drivers are making their third chase for the championship. A McCrury, the Season 1 champion, along with Blaine Keys, J Shelton, D Poteet, and Benjamin Miles, and making his 4th, an unprecedented 4 for 4 in making the chase in his career. J Baskinger is the only driver in history to have made all 4 chases for the championship. However, he's got a 0 in the championship column so far. Could this be the year? Half of our chasers this season are returning chasers from last year as well, so we'll have to see if they're looking for redemption, as there's only one former champion amongst them, that being A McCrury, all the way back in Season 1. Getting ready to go racing under the lights here at our first race of the chase, first race of the first round of the chase, I should say, as we are here under the lights at Chicagoland for 41 laps of racing. These drivers trying to set a precedent here, get to victory lane early so they don't have to worry about what happens next week at Dodge Motor Dome and at our first elimination race in 2 weeks at Indianapolis. See a number of drivers up here at the front of the field for qualifying. The entire inside line back through the first 4 rows is comprised of chasers. T Dunham on the inside of row 1, E Hartnett inside of row 2, J Sydnor inside of row 3, and last week's winner, Blaine Keys, who was able to, using stage points and that victory, get into the chase. They're in the top 5.
Drivers,
as there's command to fire them up, and we're getting ready to get them started. 5 chasers starting inside of the top 10 here tonight, with J Bryant rolling off from the 10th position. We saw in last night's Pizza Hut X Series race, drivers that would get into problems. Well, they're in a bit of a danger zone heading into the next couple of races, heading towards the elimination race for them. So these drivers here tonight, hopefully they learned something, and we'll see if they did, as they're going to try and get themselves in good position. If they can't win the race, they obviously want to be ahead of the 13th position in the point standings cut line, because 13th through 16th in points, once the checkered flag waves in Indy, they are no longer going to be competing for the championship. Of course, the easy way to tell the chasers apart from the non-chasers, take a good look at the driver banner as well as the rear spoilers. You can't really see the splitters all that well, so we won't really throw that into play, but the silver spoilers and driver banners will indicate the chase drivers as opposed to the non-chase drivers. And let's not forget that aside from the 16 drivers that are battling for the championship, we have another 26 drivers in this field that are all looking to go to victory lane as well. And they don't care that the other drivers are battling for a championship. They just want to finish out the season with as many trips to victory lane as possible. You've got the Lincoln there, K Tellier. He hasn't been to victory lane yet this season. Neither is Dylan Young, neither is Dallas McIntosh, N Hudson. They're all up here inside the top 10 for the start of this race. Here we go. Season 4 Hershey's Cup Series chase for the championship is underway. We're green at Chicagoland. K Tellier right out of the gate trying to get the run on the high side there to get around T Dunham for the race lead, and she might have him cleared out of the not quite. T Dunham gonna battle back on the bottom. Tellier though with a nice run off the exit of the corner. We've seen that high line work all weekend long, and K Tellier will get out in front, and it looks like she will lead the first lap, and that is not what T Dunham wanted. Trent wanted to be able to be out in front, at least lead the first lap, so he gets a bonus point towards the chase for the championship, but that's not going to be the case right now, as they are 3 wide behind K Tellier. And we got to keep an eye on this because there's a lot of chasers in this group. Keys, Sydnor, Hartnett, Dunham, and J Arndt starting to work his way up here, along with Benjamin Miles, S Gallighan as well. So a lot of our chasers starting to make their way up here into this group that is 3 wide still, with Dallas McIntosh in the middle. Emmanuel Hartnett losing positions hand over fist as he's trapped on the outside line. L Alvarise, former chaser, back from Season 2. Right there, that Aaron's Dream Machine, two-time winner of the season, looking for his third win as he's down the apron. Ooh, let him back up, guys, please. Yikes, I think he was thinking about 4 wide, and he just went down to the apron and realized that was not going to work. He had to lift, and that really caused a stack up, and we are under caution. First caution of the evening taking place on lap number 3. As K Tellier will bring them down here to the yellow flag. So first caution of the evening. I'm assuming it was an issue probably out of turn number 2. That's been the trouble spot all weekend long for both the non-charter series race as well as the Pizza Hut X series race here last night. And there you see the lingering smoke in the middle of the back straightaway. So that was indeed the case. So let's take a look and see who was involved. Johnny Gardner, 26, involved, along with, looks like, some damage on T Walch, and also our non-charter race winner here a couple of nights ago, Sean Henley, getting a piece of it. Cole Baker's got some damage. Joshua Michaels has got some front-end damage. There's a chaser in the middle of all this, Charles Sandfer. Don't know if he's got damage or not, but doesn't appear to. Levi McIntire's got some damage there on both the front and rear of his Scott's Ford. Everybody else up here is all good to go. Well, thought I saw a little bit of damage on Dylan Poteet's front end, and that might have actually been the case because he's coming to pit road, as is his Twinix Racing teammate J McCloud. So a couple of chasers there coming to pit road, a couple of teammates out of the Twinix Racing stables. We also saw Joseph Srigley on pit road, and it looks like he's actually taken his number 24 to the garage area. Cloud and Poteet going to try and get their cars repaired, salvage what they can. Nope, actually Srigley is continuing. He was just back there in the lights. I couldn't see him. So we are under caution for the first time here tonight. We've got a couple of chasers involved in this as K Tellier leads us under our first yellow. Let's take a look at a replay. This starts off of 2. That's Brandon Gonzales, the yellow car on the bottom. Joshua Michaels in the middle, and Michaels just kind of moves up the track, and J McCloud's already there. Whoa, there's some hard hits further back there. That was T Walch. He got hooked by, looks like another chaser. That might have been Dylan Poteet. Yes, it was. There you see Levi McIntyre getting into Brandon Gonzales. And right there is where Srigley's going to get a piece of it. Cole Baker gets into the back of McCloud. Gardner into the back of Baker. Poteet going to slip through there, as does Baskinger. Another chaser there, everybody trying to get by. And we had something else happen further up here because Srigley had left side damage, and I don't see where he would have got. Oh, maybe some contact here from Fitzwater, who was down on the apron. Nope, wasn't that. So where did he get? He had quite a bit of extensive left side damage, did Joseph Srigley. And I'm not rightly sure where that came from. Did we have another wreck take place? I don't think so. Well, let's rewind back. I'm not exactly sure where the damage was I saw on the 24, where that came from. Let's jump to the 23 of Brandon Gonzales, because I think something happens a little bit further up here with him and Levi McIntyre as well. Into the wall, they both nose their Mitsubishi Lancer and Ford Fusion. And I think McCloud's going to make contact with one of them. Right there. That's when he was hit in the back by Cole Baker, who was then hit in the back right there by Johnny Gardner. Gardner's car goes into a slide. I think at that point he's completely lost all steering in the 26 car. And everybody else drives away. Baker still spun out there on the apron. McIntyre leaving the scene along with Joshua Michaels. Oh, there's where Henley got his damage. Stuck behind T Walch, who was trying to get his car turned back around. And I think Sandfer got through the wreck without any damage as well. So nice job by a number of chasers. Baskinger, Sandfer, getting through there with really no incident. But we'll have to see what happens here. Two of the most dominating forces this season, the Twinix Racing Chevrolets of McCloud and Poteet, damaged. maybe off the pace. We'll have to see as we go back for the green flag. Green flag will come back out on lap 8 of 41, which gives us about 7 laps remaining in our first stage of the evening. Lap 15, the completion of stage 1. Lap 30, the completion of stage 2. And then, of course, the checkered flag, completion of stage 3, I should say. 15, 15, 11 tonight. So the green flag's back out. Back underway with K Tellier getting a nice jump. Chasers 2, 3, 4, Dunham, Keys, and Sydnor. And only one driver out of the race after the wreck we just saw take place, that being the 26th of J Gardner. Battle back here, going to go on between a couple of teammates. Lane Keys in the 42 went to victory lane last week. Dallas McIntosh, who was a chaser last season, not a chaser this season, but his first win of the year, to try and complete the sweep for the Sega Motorsports team. Trent Dunham's been to victory lane already this season at Rio de Janeiro. Blaine Keys last week at M&M Super Speedway. And Dylan Young! Yikes, what is it with these drivers wanting to use that apron? That's the second time we've seen a driver go down there to the apron, and it's not going to work. You can't get enough grip to be able to make the corner. K Tellier, I'm going to look in the rearview mirror because it is Sega Motorsports. 1, 2, and 3. Trent Dunham pushing Blaine Keys to the win last week at M&M Super Speedway, getting him into this chase for the championship, his third. Keys has been in two chases now representing Sega Motorsports, and then he also was a part of Hendrick Motorsports back in Season 1 when he drove the number 48. Caution is out again. Second caution of the evening. We've only completed 10 laps and already are working our second yellow flag. As K Tellier continues to show the way here, and I don't know if she's going to be leading once we get back to the completion of the first stage or not, under caution, or if we'll get back green before that. But look at the top 10 as far as chasers. Third place Keys, fourth place Dunham, J Arndt now up to 6th, McCrury 7th, Miles in 8th, Haas in 9th, and Hartnett in 10th. So right now, 7 chasers inside the top 10 here under our second caution of the evening, and we may end up having some pit stops here. So we'll stick around, see if indeed we do have pit stops under this yellow flag, which may put these drivers now into the fuel window where they could make it the entire rest of the way on what they have in the tank. So this could be the only stop of the evening we see the race leaders make. And there's a car on pit road, and that is J McCloud again in the 51. Looks like they're servicing the car. Joshua Michaels on pit road. A lot of damage on his Honda. Z Flickinger there in the 74. Also on the pit lane. So can only assume that these drivers were involved in that yellow flag. Going to go for at least right sides on the Breast Cancer Awareness Lincoln, and they are going to go for a full 4-tire stop on K Tellier. I see some damage there on Sean Gallighan, the 44. I saw some damage as well on Jessica Shelton. And Gallighan, they're going to have to make some repairs on that car as K Tellier just barely going to beat out Dallas McIntosh, so it looks like she will restart as the race leader when we go back green. But for now, let's go back and look at a replay of what put us under our second caution of the evening here at Chicago. We had 2 wrecks almost at the same time in 2 different portions of the field. We're going to look here at the one that happened further up first. That's L Alvarise in the 08 in the middle, and either Hartnett moved up or Garrett Sydnor moved down, whatever the case. Alvarise down into M Haas as well, and then there's where Sean Gallighan got his damage, running into the back of the 38 of Sydnor. Look at J Bryant part the waters between the 2 chasers. Brooke Allen going to get a piece of it there with the 38. Shelton's going to get involved right here. Chelsea Bowles and Alex Miller going way down to the bottom full speed. It's a wonder they didn't plow. Z Fitzwater also getting a piece of that as well. Now, there was another incident back here that I believe involved Caitlin Tsang, and I think it started with... Oh, whoa! Joshua Michaels just clobbered the back of the 99 of Levi McIntyre. But I think it started with the 74 of Z Flickinger. He was way up the racetrack in turn 2. And I think it was another 3-wide situation that went wrong, just like what happened further up ahead of them. See Flickinger way up the track. He's going to get a bit of a run here, it looks like, off the corner on K Tsang. Oh, but he gets hooked by, I think that was Baskinger in the 5. And then K Tsang goes around off the nose of Chelsea Bowles as they're all trying to slow up for the wreck up ahead. D Poteet's going to just narrowly squeak by. But then he gets a shot from behind by Levi McIntyre. Here comes Tim Walsh. He's going to run to the back of Flickinger. Never slowed down and rams into the back as well of D Poteet. And then look at McCloud on the bottom of the racetrack as Michaels clobbers McIntyre. McCloud, I think, got a piece of the 74. Boy, don't know if these drivers left their brakes at home today or not, because a lot of drivers clobbered some other drivers without slowing down going into this wreck full speed. And I hate to say it, but it almost looks like we may end up having some chasers find themselves behind the proverbial 8-ball heading into Dodge Motordome next week with the damage they sustained from the couple of wrecks that took place here, this time on the back straightaway. Let's go back to green, find out what we've got as far as our chase scenarios now. Well, we'll go back to green. Zach Flickinger is on the tail end of the lead lap. James McCloud is a lap down, and they are boxing in K Tellier as we get ready to go back green. Lap 15 will go on the board. Next time by is the completion of lap 15, which is the end of our first stage. And look at this. Dallas McIntosh wasting no time. He and Dylan Young both jumping up to the outside line. They use the slower traffic as a pick, and they will go to 1-2. After the incident, we've got 3 more drivers out of the race, all non-chasers though. Michaels, McIntyre, and Walsh. Joseph Srigley is now 2 laps down the race leaders. James McCloud and Zach Flickinger also off the lead lap, as the first stage is going to be won by Dylan Young. He will cross the line at the completion of lap 15, so 10 valuable stage points for Dylan Young. Dylan Young looking for his first win since Season 2 when he went to Victory Lane at Homestead Miami Speedway. He went winless all of Season 3 and currently winless in Season 4. Battle is on for the second spot. Chelsea Bowles, who had to race her way into this event via the non-charter race. She's already up inside the podium position and now looking for the race lead off of Dylan Young. She's already got a win in the non-charter series, looking to become the 3rd driver to pick up a non-charter win in the main event. The other 2 were K Tsang. She was non-chartered back at the time when she took the checkered flag in Eldora. Jackson went to Victory Lane at Richmond. Side by side down the straightaway. Bowles on the inside, Young on the outside. Dallas McIntosh still in the minute. Now the highest running chaser is Matt Haas, who made his second straight chase for the championship this season. He was a rookie last year when he made the chase. This season, coming in his second full year and trying to pick up his second win of the year. He had a win at Talladega, which got him into this chase. Another chaser working his way up as well. That is the Napa Dodge of Benjamin Miles. And his teammate not too far back there in Cody Llamas, both of the NW Racing Dodge Darts. Inside the top 10. Moving just outside the top 10 is the Ford Fusion of the Season 1 champion, Anthony McCrury, running right now just behind DJ Curtis, another of the non-charter cars, along with the 75 of Alex Miller, who have all worked their way up here towards the front of the field. Chelsea Bowles out in front. The battle is on now for second. Matt Haas got around Dylan Young, and now he will move to that second spot. Matt Haas, Benjamin Miles, Cody Llamas, and Anthony McCrury all in good positions right now as far as where they're running to be in good shape heading into the short track at Dodge Motordome next week. And there was a car that just hit pit road. Oh, it's Joseph Srigley in the 24. He's making numerous pit stops, just trying to keep that car up to speed. Side by side there between some teammates, Emmanuel Hartnett and Zachary Stoltz, Fire Race Racing teammates. Trent Dunham back here along with Charles Sandfer, John R, Jessica Shelton, and D Poteet. They're all just trying to salvage what they can as they try and make their way up towards this lead pack, which is now caboosed by J Baskinger right now behind Anthony McCurry. Baskinger last time by scored in 13th position, so about 13 cars up in this lead group at the moment. At the front, Benjamin Miles has now taken the second spot, so now he's the highest running chaser. So it's Dodge Dart versus Dodge Dart. Non-chartered driver Chelsea Bowles, chartered machine, and Benjamin Miles there in second trying to run her down, and we had a spin on the back straightaway, but apparently no caution came out. So take a NNSCRA split cam to see just exactly what happened. We had the same issue happen over in the Pizza X series, a couple of spins on the back straightaway, no caution, but now you saw the lights were on for the caution, so yellow flag waves for the third time tonight, just around the halfway point. Oh, and Joseph Srigley appears to be involved. There's a chaser involved in Garrett Sydnor. K Tsang also in it, along with Sean Henley in the 57. And I'm not certain, but the car that may have spun on the back straightaway could very well have been J Bryant. Cole Baker also is smoking. And I said to look at your NNSCRA split cam, but it did not show up because with this caution coming out, we're going to be able to go back and see what actually happened for a full replay. Shouldn't be coming to pit road. No, they're not. So we are going to look back at a replay and see what happened. We've got another chaser on pit road now involved in an incident. That's the 38 of Garrett Sydnor. Let's go back and see what happened. Well, here's what our NNSCRA split cam would have shown you. And it was indeed J Bryant who was the one that spun on the back straightaway but didn't bring out the caution. 3 wide between himself, rookie Brooke Allen, and Sean Henley on the outside. And Brooke Allen just gets him in the left rear, spins him down through the grass. That did not bring out a caution, though. J Bryant slides it towards turn 3. And fortunately, nobody really bottled up there to run into him. He was able to get the car refired and continue on, so that didn't bring out the caution. Now let's see what did. And K Tsang was running in that second group of race cars. And right there, she just got off the corner up into Jessica Shelton. And then they get into Emmanuel Hartnett spinning the 83 car around. And I think K Tsang wasn't exactly all that thrilled that Shelton didn't give her a lot of room. Drives up into the driver's side door of the 02 car. Dylan Poteet gets a piece of that as well as K Tsang goes for a spin. Hartnett gets the car refired. He continues on. Kyle Mathews nearly ended up hitting K Tsang. And I think, though, yeah, right here. Oh, Garrett Sydnor, nowhere to go. Sean Henley. Oh, K Tellier, who was up at the front early on. She gets involved in this one. Tough break there for that Lincoln. And I think that's pretty much a death knell for Garrett Sydnor. And, oh, man, then Joseph Srigley, who's just was coming to pit road time after time, trying to keep that car up to speed. He clobbers K Tsang, and then here comes Cole Baker. Sees Sean Henley, tries to get down to the bottom quickly enough and just can't do it. And then here comes McCloud and Flickinger and Bryant, who are back here as well. And they're all just barely going to get by that disabled Pepsi Chevrolet of Joseph Srigley. So looks like maybe our first retiree of the race for a chase driver could very well be the Garrett Sydnor machine, the number 38. So we're under yellow for the fourth time, I believe, tonight here at Chicagoland. Green flag will come back out. We will have a total of 16 laps to go in this one. Chelsea Bowles out in front, trying to become the first driver to have both a non-charter and a charter win this year. Benjamin Miles lines up in second with M Haas in third. Then you got to go a ways back to find the next chaser, as you got Dylan Young, Nathan Hudson, L Alvarise, Keith Batson, DJ Curtis, Dallas McIntosh. Next chaser is Cody Llamas, restarting in 10th, so only 3 chasers now inside the top 10 for this restart. James McCloud, 32nd, 1 lap down. Zach Flickinger, 33rd, 1 lap down. 33 cars still running, 31 on the lead lap, and after that incident, out of the race on the cars of Cole Baker. Chaser Garrett Sydnor will finish the evening out in 35th, so he's going to have some work to do in the next 2 weeks to avoid getting eliminated from the chase. K Tsang and Sean Henley also out of the race, along with Joseph Srigley joining Joshua Michaels, Levi McIntyre, Tim Walsh, and Johnny Gardner in the garage area. Green flag back out. We're back underway. Garrett Sydnor making his first chase for the championship, but it was the second time the 38 car made the chase for the championship. Carson Scott made the chase for AS Racing back in Season 2. Top 3, top 4, top 5 all able to get around the lap traffic. Looked like from about 6th on back, though, they had a little bit of difficulty. Dylan Young, Leon Alvarise and company having some problems getting around the 51. So now Chelsea Bowles has to hold off two very hungry chase drivers, Benjamin Miles and Matt Haas. Why are they hungry? Well, we said at the top of the program, if you win a race in this round, you're automatically locked into the round of the top 12. Regardless of what happens next week at the short track of Dodge Motordome or at the super speedy Indianapolis, you are locked into the next round. You could start in park and still make it into the next round. Benjamin Miles, in his third chase for the championship, he would have been in the chase for the championship for a fourth time, like Baskinger this season, had it not been for the fact that near the end of last year, he ended up dropping so far down the point stands that his win was too far down. He was too far down points-wise to make it into the chase for the championship. Miles making the chase back in seasons 1 and 2. And I believe, I'd have to look, but I believe he's had a multi-win season every season in Hershey's Cup. Nope, I'm incorrect. 1 win back in season 1, 3 wins in season 2, and he had 2 wins last year in season 3. I also should make actually a disclaimer on an error I've been saying the last couple of weeks as well, stating that Dylan Poteet, with his 3 wins this season, he ties Mason Powers and Charles Sandfer for most wins in a single season. That is actually incorrect. Dylan Poteet and Mason Powers are now tied for second most wins in a single season with 3. Charles Sandfer actually did have a total of 4 wins, to be exact, back in season 2. So I would like to correct that error. Charles Sandfer is the most winningest driver in a single season with 4 trips to victory lane back in season 2. Speaking of coming, here comes Benjamin Miles to the inside line. He's going to try and take the race lead away now from Chelsea Bowles. Was not able to get Chelsea Bowles to the line, so Chelsea Bowles is going to win the second stage. And look at this, Matt Haas now gets a run as well. And here comes Nathan Hudson into the mix and the Napa Chevrolet out of Michael Norman Motorsports. We documented last week at M&M Super Speedway, Michael Norman Motorsports won their first win of the season. Well, Nathan Hudson's their best bet here tonight as he's currently up inside the top 4. Benjamin Miles unable to make the move that time. He's got to have Chelsea Bowles have a terrible exit off of either 2 or 4. That inside line, you can get the run into the corner, but that outside line gets a much better run off. You can see the case in point in that with Nathan Hudson getting to the inside of Matt Haas, but Haas was able to hold Hudson off once they exited turn number 2. Benjamin Miles, if he's going to make the move, he's going to have to make it pretty soon because the laps are ticking away rather quickly. Hitting the stripe this time, there are 9 laps to go here tonight at Chicagoland. Top 4 broken away, 2 of them chasers. You got to go a ways back to 5th place battle. Cody Llamas trying to hold off Dylan Young's Ford and Keith Batson's Lincoln. Then you go back here to Leon Alvarise running in 8th. And then you got chasers battling here. J Arndt, Charles Sandfer in 9th and 10th. The defending champion Kyle Mathews there in 11th. And the former champion from season 1, Anthony McCurry, right there in 12th. So right now you've got 6 chasers inside the top dozen. Back up to the front though. Benjamin Miles continuing to try and hound Chelsea Bowles, but Chelsea just gets that better run off of turn number 2. And we are going to be approaching traffic probably before this race ends. That's James McCloud and Z Flickinger, who are actually battling for position, believe it or not. That's for 32nd place. McCloud wants to keep Flickinger in his rearview mirror because every position counts here in this chase for the championship. But Flickinger going to try and get to the inside, so this is actually a very important battle for McCloud. And it may get very interesting in forming up what the battle could be here for the race lead. If and when they encounter them, Benjamin Miles has to be knowing that that slower traffic is up ahead, and he might be trying to formulate a plan to stick Chelsea Bowles behind them, try and go for this race lead, potentially the race win. Matt Haas, you got to think he's doing the same thing. Whoa, look out! Leaders are going to get blocked here by the two slower cars. Who's going to be the one to step out? Nobody steps out. McCloud's going to step out of Flickinger. Here comes Miles to the bottom. Oh, this is really tight off the corner. Miles was able to get the race lead, though. Can he clear McCloud? Yes, he will. The pick move worked perfectly for the Napa Dodge, but the Napa Chevrolet also was able to follow in the tire tracks. And just like that, thanks to slower lap traffic, Chelsea Bowles goes from the race lead now back to the 4th position as Matt Haas moves into 3rd. And now it's Napa v Napa. Up front, the Napa Dodge out of NW Motorsports of Chaser Benjamin Miles. The Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet out of Michael Norman Motorsports of Nathan Hudson. You know, Miles wants the win to move into the chase for the championships round of 12. Hudson, though, wants the win to get his first victory since Season 2. This time at the line, it's 4 laps to go. There is Sean Gallighan and K Tellier. They are on the back straightaway. That's almost 2 turns ahead of Benjamin Miles. So I don't know if traffic is going to come into play here in the closing stages now with Benjamin Miles out in front. Battle on for 3rd. Matt Haas will keep the spot from Chelsea Bowles. Meanwhile, Dylan Young, Keith Batson, Cody Llamas, they've made their way past the slower traffic. But look at this. This will be interesting. John Arndt, Kyle Mathews, Charles Sandfer, Anthony McCrury, Brooke Allen, they're all about to encounter them. This could be very important as far as some spots here with some chasers involved, the 05, 03, and 61. They're all actually going to make it to the inside line, make their way through, with the exception of McCrury. He's going to lose a couple of spots to Brooke Allen and L Alvarise, so a couple of valuable points going away from the former champion. Cody Llamas losing a spot to Keith Batson, who now moves into 5th. But up in front, 2 laps to go for Benjamin Miles. Looking to pick up his 7th career Hershey's Cup Series victory, 2nd of the season, and have an automatic ticket into the final round of the chase for the championship. Benjamin Miles was actually the last driver, the 16th driver, to make it into this season's chase. Even though Blaine Keys went to victory lane last week, he had enough points with the stage point wins. He was able to be higher than Benjamin Miles in the points. So Benjamin Miles actually got the final 16th seed in the chase for the championship. It looks like he's going to make good on it. Think about what happened last night with Colby Jackson. He just barely made it into the chase with his win at Kentucky. He then ended up winning last night. He's locked into the round of 8. Well, Benjamin Miles looks to repeat history. The caution is out, but it doesn't matter. We already took the white. Benjamin Miles gets into the chase in the 16th seed, but he will more than likely be heading into the round of 12 in the number 1 seed. Benjamin Miles heads for home. He will pick up his 2nd win of the season, taking the checkered flag here tonight at Chicagoland. And with that, Benjamin Miles is locked into the round of 12, regardless of what happens in the upcoming weeks at Dodge Motor Dome and the following week at the elimination race at Indianapolis. Talk about a far cry from last season where he just barely missed out on making the chase. Well, this season he just barely made the chase and makes good on it in the first chase race of the season. 2nd win of the season, 7th win of his Hershey's Cup Series career, and NW Racing will have 1 confirmed entry at least into the next round of the chase for the championship. Session should be complete. That caution coming out on the white flag lap, so it didn't matter. We raced it back to the checkers nonetheless. And according to the scoring monitor, half of our top 10 for the finishing results tonight were comprised of chase drivers who will find themselves in a pretty good position heading into next week's race at the Dodge Motor Dome. Miles with the win. Hudson brings it home 2nd. Matt Haas will finish in 3rd. Chelsea Bowles looked like she was en route to win the thing, but lap traffic played a factor in this. She'll finish 4th. Cody Llamas will bring it home 5th, so a 1-5 finish. Top 5 finishes for both of the NW Racing entries. Dylan Young gets 6th. Kyle Mathews will finish in 7th. John Arndt and Charles Sandfer will be the only other 2 chasers to finish in the top 10 tonight in 8th and 9th. Actually, I believe that's, 5 chasers finishing in the top 10 tonight. Miles, Haas, Llamas, Arndt, and Sandfer. Brooke Allen will complete the top 10. Where the rest of our chasers finish, Anthony McCrury will bring it home 12th. Blaine Keys in 13th. Emmanuel Hartnett in 14th place. Then you got to go ways down, find J Bryant in 16th, Dylan Poteet in 19th. And those were the only chasers to finish the race on the lead lap. J Baskinger and Trent Dunham will finish a lap down in 25th and 26th. Jessica Shelton in 28th place. Sean Gallighan will finish 30th. James McCloud was 2 laps down in 33rd. And the only chaser to actually finish out of the race was, I just lost my spot, Garrett Sydnor in the 35th position. I can only assume that the wreck might have started with Keith Batson, who was running up at the time inside of the top 10. You know what? We're actually going to go back, take a look at a replay of that. So hold on 1 second. And the incident actually did not start with Keith Batson. He and a number of others actually had to come to pit road in the closing stages. There you see DJ Curtis, Jake Baskinger, Trent Dunham coming to the pit lane. This is what brought the caution out. Dallas McIntosh just runs Chris Dodd out of room. He gets put up into the outside retaining wall, loops the car around, almost saves it. It's going to loop it around again. And fortunately, nobody is going to hit him. Wow, close call there for Dylan Poteet in the 31. McIntosh going to be able to get the car refired, continue on as everybody is able to avoid him. Those were some valuable spots picked up there by a couple of drivers like Emmanuel Hartnett in the 83. But that is what brought the caution out. But like I said, that caution did not in any way affect the outcome of the race, as the leaders had already taken the white flag. And so that is going to do it. Benjamin Miles is locked into the next round of the chase for the championship with his win here tonight. All the other drivers will have to rely on Dodge Motor Dome and the elimination race in Indianapolis to find out if they are moving on to the round of 12 or if their chase hopes will come to a very early end. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finisher results. Up next, it's your overall points change, your rookie points, and your championship points heading into next week. It's known formerly as Taylor Swift Superdome. It's now Dodge Motor Dome. We'll see you guys for short track racing next week as you've been watching Production NCRA Offline Racing at its best.